It's crazy.
Probably.
Two. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. All right, before I open up this meeting, if you have a cell phone, if you would put it on silence, please, and please note that this meeting is being recorded. Seeing how it is 6:30, I would like to open up the public meeting of the Woburn Conservation Commission. It is June 27th, 2024, and first on the agenda is Kevin Miller, 4 McDermott Drive, notice of intent 348-862, house addition, garage, deck, and porch, and by request, we have a continuance to August 22nd, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue the public hearing to August 22nd, 2024 at the applicant's request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Terrific. Next on the agenda, we have Mass DOT. Locus is I-95 at I-93. Notice of intent, DP number 348-868. Drainage outfall improvements. And we have also a request to continue this to July 25, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We also have 83 Commerce Way LLC, JTX Company, 83 Commerce Way, notice of intent 348-871, bridges, driveway access improvement, and we have a request to delay the opening to July 25th, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we delay the public hearing till July 25th, 2024 at the applicant's request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next on the agenda, Receiver Construction, their rep is not here.
Yes, excuse me, there is somebody in the audience, I believe.
Yes, but Mary Trudeau asked if we could wait. 'cause
okay, sorry.
She has another meeting.
Yeah, I
So
saw
we're
the-
going
I
to
saw
go
the
out
shirt,
of
sorry.
order. So next on deck is the City of Woburn. Locus is New Boston Street, DP number 348-870 for bridge replacement, and this is a refiling.
I want to thank you for clearing out the deadwood. My name is Jay Corey, I'm the city engineer. My responsibility on this project was to do one thing, that was file a letter of extension with the Conservation Commission 30 days prior to the expiration of our order of conditions. Somehow, that got past me. So we are before you tonight as a resubmission. We have submitted the entire project. We have re-notified all of the abutters, and we have our consultants here. Thus far, the project has gone very, very well. We've had no activity at the site in the last 5 weeks, nor do we expect any activity until the end of July, so reissuing the order of conditions in a short period of time would be very helpful, and we don't expect any problems as a result of the lapsing and reissuing of the order conditions. With that, I will turn it over to Josh Conradi and his assistant Dan from VHB.
Do you guys need the screen?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. That way we can just share the plans, just to reacquaint everyone with the project. want to kick it off?
My name is Josh Conradi. I'm with VHB, the consultant for the city on this project. So just as a reminder to everybody about this project, since it's been a little bit. Actually, we did come for a minor change a few months ago for the Eversource work that is complete at this time, actually. So we had gone through this process in 2021. This is the new Boston Street Bridge, kind of going left to right across the street, across the screen. It's a proposed replacement of the bridge that burned down in the 70s. That was a little bit slightly further up the right of way. Anderson RTC, Regional Transportation Center, is just off the screen to the north here. All right, just off the screen to the top is actually more the east in this angle. And then New Boston Street has been cut off across the MBTA railroad tracks. That's running kind of diagonally across the path here. So the bridge is proposed to go about 22 and a half feet of clearance above the railroad track. So there's a significant amount of fill happening on each side of the bridge to get up and over the railroad tracks and then back down to the existing grades on both sides. So we have these impacts colored on this sheet to kind of remind people of what the impacts are. A lot of these have actually been done at this point in the project, but like Jay said, the contractor's been off-site waiting for some other things to fall into place. So Dan, if you want to go through kind of the impacts that we have and just a reminder of what we're proposing.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Josh. Dan Kanata, I'm environmental scientist at VHB. So we have impacts to 3 resource areas of this project. We have bank and land underwater, which you can see kind of highlighted in orange there, primarily due to the new bridge construction for abutments there. These streams are effectively pretty heavily modified ditches that run along the MBTA right-of-way right now. So not particularly high-value wetlands there. In addition, we have some culvert work, the red connection there across to the outfall across New Boston Street. We have a small amount of work that is going to happen at the outfall that will result in conversion of bordering vegetated wetland to land underwater. Pretty small impact area of 29 square feet, and also proposing replication at a ratio of 3 to 1 immediately adjacent to that area. And the work of this culvert here, this replacement will also result in a small section of daylighting of about, I believe, 36 square feet, and an increase in land underwater by about 842 square feet in the area. And then in general, erosion and sedimentation controls are proposed around the site, the limits of work just to prevent any incidental discharges to resource areas during construction.
Just of note too, there was a large drainage effort on this job that went back and forth during permitting with some nearby butters that had gotten peer reviewed and accepted as part of the original NOI for 2 detention basins that are being installed. One is just off the screen here along what we're calling 315 New Boston Street driveway, and one's actually just off the screen to the left of this plan along the northern section of New Boston Street driveway. And that information was all included in the original filing and the refiling that we submitted.
All right, any questions from the commission?
Yeah, so you said the Eversource work, which is the only change that's happened so far?
Yep.
And none are anticipated?
No more changes at this time, no.
Okay. So the plans are reflecting, what the work, the intentional work, right?
Yep.
Correct.
And previously, you had requested that we waive the 25-foot no disturb zone because, there was a need to work there. So I would move tonight that we waive the 25-foot no disturb zone for the project where it was previously requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So that's granted. Any other questions from any commissioners? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the matter? Hearing none, bring it back to the commission. One last opportunity for any questions or comments. Hearing none, is it your request that we close the public hearing?
It is.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're good?
We're good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, next on the agenda is Pulte Homes of New England LLC, Hill Street, Highland at Vale. Notice of intent, DP number 348-872, residential development, and this is also a refiling. So if you would sign in and state your name for our note taker.
Good evening, Commission members. Matthew Leidner with Civil Design Group. I'm here tonight representing Pulte Homes of New England on the Highland at Vale project, which is, as you are probably aware, a component of the larger Vale project. We were before this commission back in 2020 and 2021 with a notice of intent filing, at which time the project was extensively reviewed by the commission and its peer review consultant, and ultimately an order of conditions was issued on June 2nd, 2021. Construction started shortly thereafter and has been ongoing since. And we got to the point recently, similar to the project before us, where it was our responsibility to file an extension request 30 days before June 2nd, 2024, when the order expired. We did not do that, which is our fault. However, after discussing it with Teresa, the course of action that was left with us was to refile a new notice of intent to be able to resume work within the jurisdictional areas of the project. We filed a new notice of intent back on June 12th, and the notice of intent, we noticed abutters, we went through the process as required, but I can say that the plan set and stormwater calculations that we submitted were those exact same plans and report that were filed and actually referenced in the former order of conditions that was approved. So we're not requesting any project changes whatsoever from that. This request for a new order of conditions is just to resume the work that was previously approved by this commission. So we respectfully request your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so we'll open it up to the commission. Any questions or comments?
So, yeah, I have a couple questions. Any changes to the previously approved plans that have happened thus far that we have not approved? That you know of?
No.
Okay. I had a question about Building 1. There's a couple of infiltration systems that are supposed to be there. Have they been installed?
I have with me tonight the engineer that's been on site for the construction. If I may, I'd like to refer to him to confirm that.
Okay.
Good evening, Craig Marchanda with Marchanda and Associates.
You would sign in for us, please? Thank you.
Building 1, I assume you're referring to the large garden building at the top of the site? Yes, those systems have been installed.
Okay, and did you submit a letter certifying that they were installed properly?
I don't recall offhand. I personally didn't. Someone in my office may have. Those systems won't be fully online at this stage, but when requested, we're submitting any as-built along the way.
Are those systems being used currently? Is water being put into them?
Up there,
I mean, I'm guessing.
last I knew it was plugged. I haven't been
Plugged?
up there in some time, yes.
Okay. So I would like to see the certification that they were installed properly.
Sure. I can say that those systems are installed under the supervision of the manufacturer. They have a rep on site full-time during the installation, who
Yep.
I met while I was out there.
Right.
For what it's worth, but we can certainly submit certifications.
Yeah,
That's not a
it's,
problem.
it was in the order of conditions previously, and it'll be in the next one if it's approved. So,
Absolutely.
I'm wondering about, let's see, some of the permits that you need, like I think from the Army Corps. Do you still have all those permits? Are you aware of the ones?
So this project, the Highland Vale project did not require any Army Corps permits. The larger Vale project,
Okay.
I believe, did, and to my knowledge, though they're active and they got all the permits that they needed. But this particular project is just a component within that. It's just the portion being constructed by Pulte Homes.
Right.
This project did not require its own Army Corps permit for the work that's being proposed.
Okay. Could we get, I'd like to get an updated sequence of work, because I don't believe we've received one for a while. So where we are now, where we're going to be in the future, something like that.
I think we can certainly do that.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
If I may,
Yep.
before I come up, would you like me to give an overview of where the construction is at this moment? Would that be of interest?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Matt, would
Like to
you
see
be able
it.
to decipher that?
I just had one question. There were maybe one or two buildings that I noticed that were in the 150 buffer zone. Was that on the original plan as well? I did not get a chance to look at the
Correct.
original plan.
Yes, the plans that are submitted before the commission are the exact same plans that were approved in the order of conditions.
Okay.
And we were proceeding in accordance with those approved plans and not requesting any changes. Gary.
I don't think I have this. Your laptop, I don't have the right connection for this.
Oh, I don't have my laptop. I can just describe it, if you will. So good evening. My name's Mark Mastriani, here representing Pulte Homes of New England, who's the developer and owner of Highland at Vale, the residential project of the larger Vale. So, as Matt said, we started construction approximately 3 years ago, and construction has been ongoing since. So if you can picture the Highland at Vale, if you're all familiar with it, there was a multifamily component section on the high side of the site, and then there were townhomes that stepped down towards the river. If you went out there today, Building 1 is a fully complete multifamily building. So there was 3 of them. So the first building is fully completed, constructed, and occupied. The second of the multifamily buildings is almost fully constructed. We're doing interior finish work now, and closings are projected to start middle of July into August of this year. Both Building 1 and Building 2 are pretty much all sold out. Pulte's reserving some units for sales and some model homes. And then Building 3, the final of the multifamily buildings, that is being framed if you went out there today. So I think the second or the third story is being framed, and the projection is that building would be complete middle of next year at the latest, and will be sold out and occupied. So that entire section will be complete, finished punch list work, completed, stabilized, by the end of 2025. The townhome section, if I start at the top, there's 3 there's basically three roads, driveways that step down off of the spine road, the access road, which is called Began Way. So the highest road is named Archer Drive, and it's binder paved, and all of the townhomes there are complete and occupied. And Pulte's using two of the homes as a sales office and a model home. And then the second driveway off of the spine road is Cooley Drive, and that road is fully binder paved. And all of those homes on Cooley Drive, those townhomes, are complete and occupied. And so then that leaves us with the third driveway off of the Spine Road, and it's actually Goodwin Drive and Mason Way. And that is, so it's half binder paved, and there's probably 15 homes in various stages of construction, so pretty active site. And the plan really is to finish binder paving all of the driveways within the next month or two, and then to complete the construction of all of the townhomes by the end of 2025, and again, and to finish the work in accordance with the plans, and to clean up everything, and really the goal is, and the projection is to complete construction of the Highland at Vale by the end of 2025, so about a year and a half from now.
Okay, any questions from the commission?
Just have one. Mr. Chairman. So thanks for presenting this tonight. Appreciate it very much. Just a question on, do you foresee any proposed or planned changes to the plan as filed? Do you foresee anything like that?
I do not at this time. We were proceeding in accordance with the plans, and had every intention to continue to completion until we realized that we had missed the deadline, and we stopped work in the jurisdictional area, and until we filed a new NOI and hopefully get a new order of conditions.
Okay. And just lastly, if there are any changes that you foresee, will you be coming back to the commission with those changes?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe we'd review the changes, probably with Teresa,
Yeah.
maybe Jay Corey, and you would advise us whether that change was administrative or the building inspector.
Okay.
And if it's administrative, I guess we would be okay to go. But if it warranted coming back to the commission for you to determine whether it's a minor or major change, we would go through that process.
Okay,
But,
great.
yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, that's one of the major things we see. And there was a major change in that area, and it wasn't brought to us, and we had to go around and around to get things taken care of. So if there are changes that warrant you to come before us, please do so.
Understood.
Any other questions or comments? Again, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the matter, you step up to the microphone and sign in. Identify yourself.
Hello, I'm Tracy Olson. I'm a resident of Winchester, living nearby the Highland at the Vale property, and I've been working for over 20 years to help protect the health of the Aberjona River as a volunteer for the Mystic River Watershed Association. I'm concerned about the construction of homes close to the river within the 150-foot buffer zone to the bordering vegetative wetlands. I ask the commission, even though the plan is approved, to take this opportunity to reconsider the environmental impacts of this project. As a responsible town, Woburn protects wetlands as an important resource that they are by defining a buffer zone of 150 feet, as you all know. Buffer zones are especially those with native vegetation, are critical to protecting the wetlands for sediment coming from erosion and road sand, and from toxic substances, chloride, and nutrients coming from stormwater. The effectiveness of the wetlands buffer zone is dependent on maintaining the natural vegetation and on the slope of the land in the buffer zone. The greater the slope, the less effective the buffer, and therefore the need to increase the width of the buffer to protect the wetlands. And I take this from the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commission's Buffer Zone Guidebook. The slope only has to be greater than 15% for there to be a significant impact that may necessitate the widening of a buffer zone. The applicant for a permit, as you all know, shall have the burden of proof by a preponderance of the credible evidence that the work proposed in the application will not harm the interests protected by your ordinance. There is little evidence supplied in the NOI that the work proposed in the buffer zone will not harm the interests of the wetlands by shrinking the buffer zone. In addition, the NOI does not address the additional concern of the slope of the buffer zone and whether the buffer zone width should be increased to address the slope. Therefore, I request that the Woburn Conservation Commission consider limiting the construction of houses and associated lawns and outdoor spaces to areas outside of this 150-foot buffer zone, or wider if you feel that the slope needs to be taken into account. By removing 7 townhouses, those are units 69 through 75, encroaching on the buffer zone from the plans, the number of housing units in the project will be reduced by a very small percentage, less than 4%. But this action will provide essential environmental protection for the bordering wetlands of the Aberjona River and therefore for the river itself. The Mystic and Aberjona rivers have been degraded by past industries, and the gelatin factory is one of them, and urbanization, but they are being revitalized by cleanup efforts, such as the ones undertaken by Leggett McCall and by the Mystic River Watershed Association and other organizations, and by dam removal. And now the Aberjona and Mystic support one of the largest herring runs in Massachusetts. This small change will make a big difference to the river health. And I thank you for your consideration and appreciate this opportunity to comment. And you hopefully will have you should have a copy of my written comments that I submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I do have the copy that Ms. Olson sent to us, and I'd like to make it part of the permanent record. I'll move that we add this to the permanent record.
Okay.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Terrific.
Thank you.
If I could just address the, what you're calling the slope. So where the end of the last units are, there's going to be a large infiltration area. And the slope from the end of those units to the BVW is fairly slight. It goes from about, I think it was like 52 to 50, so it's a very gradual slope. I wasn't for, I mean, there wasn't much that we could do. I mean, there's not a lot of jurisdictional area here for us, so we were mostly concerned with, and again, going to the stormwater part of it. Mm-hmm. We had it peer reviewed. Peer review, we were satisfied with the peer review. I think that the applicant has done everything to meet the standards. So, you know, for that reason, that was the reason why the project was approved in the past, mm-hmm. With an order of conditions. Again, I don't believe the slope here is great enough to warrant, you know, the whole 150 feet being a buffer zone, but I appreciate the time that you took to research this.
And I'd just like to comment on the buffer zone. Woburn has stepped up and gone beyond the 100-foot buffer zone that is the state. And if we didn't have that 150, we would have to go with the 100. And I don't think they even come close to approaching the 100-foot. So I'm, with the little bit of entrance into the 150 buffer, I personally don't see that as a problem. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments or questions?
I just have one question. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of good information, there, a lot of interesting information. I'm just clarifying, because I was listening closely, I was trying to take notes. Is part of the proposal to remove unit 65 to something? I couldn't hear the second part of it.
75.
65 to 75, thank you. So that's part of your proposal for considerations, the removal of unit 65 to 75, is that correct?
69 to 75.
69 to 75, thank you, it's a hearing issue, thank you. All set, thank you.
Again, if you would sign in and identify yourself for our note taker.
Thank you. My name is David Miller. I'm from the Winchester Conservation Commission, for which I am chair. Wanted to point out that in the days before the project started, the whole Montvale project, the town of Winchester sued the Montvale developers for issues related to concerns about stormwater. On March 29th of 2021, a settlement was reached with the developers, which included Pulte Homes, as well as the individuals that built, LCS that built the Delaney development. And this agreement was signed by the president of Pulte Homes, whose name I can't read, but it begins James something or other? Yeah. And the agreement required Pulte Homes to submit a weekly report from an environmental monitor. And at least the Winchester Conservation Commission, who were the settlement people on this agreement, have never received such a report. I don't know if Woburn's received one. You certainly have received the reports on a relatively regular basis from the LCS developers of the Delaney development, but we've never received anything from Pulte. Now that it sounds like the project is going to get close to the resource area, I think it would be important that we hold them to this agreement, and that you add that as an order of conditions as you consider what's going forward.
Can you just explain again, what was that you was, what report are you supposed to receive from them?
I can leave this copy of the agreement with you, but it says the developers shall submit a weekly report to the town, that's Winchester,
Yep.
from the environmental monitor, certifying based on the site inspections by the environmental monitor that all work is being performed in compliance with the order of conditions issued by the Woburn Conservation Commission, or noteworthy deviation from those orders has occurred. And it
Okay.
goes on from there.
Right.
And if you've seen, again, the LCS reports, they have all that information. So Pulte was supposed to have been doing that since March 29, 2021.
Have you received any?
We've not received any.
No. So that may be something you want to take up with Pulte at some point.
Well, I think I just did. Our town council would happily take it up with Pulte. We spoke with him this evening. But again, I ask you to put it perhaps in the order of conditions as you consider that at this time.
So David, you're asking us maybe, so I don't know that we were party to the receipt of those reports. So like, would we be asking them to submit, to make sure that they submit, these reports to the Winchester Conservation Commission or the town of Winchester?
Well, they're legally bound to do that.
Okay, yep.
And I'm reminding them of that through you, but I'm also suggesting that it might be of value too. I certainly found the reports with regard to the Delaney development extremely helpful. And I know we've communicated on those at times, so similarly, I would imagine you would find these helpful, but that's your call. We will take it up with them directly. I'm just putting that idea out there.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience that would like to speak on the matter? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the commission. Any last comments or questions? Hearing none, is it your wish that we close the public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is Matt Teal, One Arrow Drive Realty LLC, locus is One Arrow Drive, notice of intent, DP number 348-873, for site improvements. I'm in the knowledge that we just received brand-new plans, so we won't be voting on anything tonight, but Mr. Teal is here, and I certainly, out of courtesy to him, will give him a couple of minutes to speak, and we will deal with it
Yeah.
Rid of this?
at the next meeting. So,
No.
if there is anybody here for this project, again, we're not going to be acting on anything, and this probably will go to July 27th? 25th, rather. So, if you,
Sure, Matthew Teal, 1 Hour to Realty and New England Lab. We had a brief informal review of the project at their last meeting. We since incorporated some of those comments and what we reviewed at the last meeting into the set of drawings. And that's what was resubmitted on earlier today. So,
I'm sorry, can I just interrupt for a second, just for clarification for the commission members who just got the plans? Do the plans that were submitted today completely replace what was previously submitted? Or are they supplementing, like, can they?
completely replaced.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And the paperwork with it,
We don't have the plans.
does that completely replace what was previously submitted, or is it supplemental too?
We replaced some of like the narrative part of it and the WPA form, but the rest of what we submitted earlier would be the same.
So my question is, do the commission members need to keep the documentation
Yes.
previous to today?
No, no, sorry.
Okay, so it's, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the submission today is complete and represents the latest information. So the commission has reviewed this project about 9 months ago, and basically the main concerns at that time was dealing with the stormwater, which we reviewed at the last informal meeting. And Mira can go through a little bit more of the details, but as we talked about previously, we've added in a new water quality treatment manhole and a new entrance into the stream, as well as proposing repair of that existing pipe. Jerry, I think you were out recently to take a look at that again.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So that's what we're also, looking to repair. So part of the reason that delayed our submission till today was the fact that we needed to go out and do some additional surveying. That existing pipe is actually quite low. And that's part of the question that we had at the last informal meeting was what work you want us to do in the stream as far as cleaning out and whatnot, but seems like there's a lot of sediment in the stream at that location where that pipe enters.
Right.
So we're trying to address that on the set of drawings here, basically.
So is this, I'm sorry, because the water quality unit wasn't included in the last set of drawings, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yep. So Mira can go through some of the details here and answer any other questions.
Hi, for the record, I'm Mira Cousins with Civil Design Consultants. So as we mentioned before, we just submitted the revised plans and reports today, so we understand that you haven't had time to review everything, and we'll need to continue this meeting, but we thought it'd be helpful to walk through the changes to the plans that we're proposing. So with that, just a refresher, the site is One Arrow Drive. It's located in the Industrial Park District. The total area of the lot is approximately 3.47 acres. The site contains a 28,000 square foot building and is surrounded by pavement area. For resource areas, an intermittent stream, which essentially is a man-made drainage ditch, is located at the southern boundary right here, this green line here. The local 25-foot no disturb zone, the 100-foot buffer zone, and the local 150-foot buffer zone extends from the bank of the stream in a northerly direction. The majority of the areas within the buffer zone areas are either disturbed or degraded with impervious area, as you can see from this. Currently, pavement runoff from the entire 1.63 acres of the parking lot either sheet flows into the stream or towards Arrow Drive without any treatment. There's an existing closed drainage system located to the west of the building, which discharges into the stream. And as Matthew had mentioned, when we came here initially last year, we didn't know where that outfall was located, but earlier this week, we investigated the stream area more closely and found the pipe outfall, which was buried and located approximately 4 feet into the bank. And I'll zoom into where that's located. So right over here. This is the edge of pavement. This green line is the bank delineation, and that's where that outfall was located. So what we're proposing to do, if you've been to the site, you would have noticed that the existing pavement is in really tough shape. So the plan is to do full depth pavement reconstruction, as well as adding landscaping, reconfiguring the parking lot, adding lighting and signage. The project proposes a total decrease in impervious area by approximately 5%, which qualifies as a redevelopment project and therefore needs to comply with the 10 stormwater standards to the maximum extent practicable. No additional impervious area is proposed within the 25-foot no disturb zone. There will be a reduction of 2,196 square feet of impervious area within the 100-foot buffer zone, and 2,988 square feet reduction in impervious area within the 150-foot buffer zone. So there was a handful of revisions we made to the plans that I'd like to walk through here. So when we were last here back in 2023, we heard from a few commission members that they would like to see water quality treatment due to the amount of runoff generated from the existing parking lot, discharging into that stream without any treatment. So we added a hydrodynamic separator water quality structure. I'll zoom in right here, located right here. And that's sized to treat the 1-inch water quality volume from approximately 1 acre of pavement area prior to discharging into the stream. We're also proposing to install curbing along the southern edge of the pavement, so all along here, where there currently is none today, so that any runoff from the pavement area will be directed into the water quality structure and will receive the 82% TSS removal before discharging into the stream. Since there's only a narrow 5 to 8 foot buffer strip from the bank to the edge of pavement, we were limited to where we can place that outfall associated with the water quality structure. Right here. So we are proposing the new outfall to be located a foot from the bank on the upland side, but minor work will be required within the bank for minor regrading around the outfall and the installation of riprap. The outfall will contain a concrete head wall and stone armoring to properly control stormwater discharge and mitigate any erosive forces. And then going back to the existing outfall, right over here, zoom into the other, see it better here. We're proposing to expose the pipe so it's no longer buried and adding riprap at that pipe end. We would be impacting 8 feet of bank for the new outfall and 7 linear feet for the maintenance of the existing outfall. and that would be a total of 80 square feet of total impact area within the bank. Matthew is also proposing to remove any trash, debris, obstructions, and accumulated sediment within the bank to restore the flow capacities. So in summary, the redevelopment of the site will be located in existing, developed, and disturbed areas. A total net reduction of 2,988 square feet of impervious area is proposed within the 150-foot buffer zone. We're reducing both runoff peak flows and volume to the stream by approximately 8%. And the project would result in a significant improvement to the treatment of the stormwater from the majority of the pavement area, which currently sheet flows into the bank resource area without any treatment. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I've got just a quick question. On the pipe, the outlet that you found and uncovered, what type of condition did you find? Did you think there's any damage to the pipe going away?
We didn't notice any damage to the pipe. It's a 12-inch reinforced concrete pipe. So what we saw visibly, what we could see, didn't look damaged. It was just buried.
So it was buried, you uncover it?
And I think we'll discover more once we were able to hand dig that area.
If it requires any attention, I'm assuming you'll get to it?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I had a question in that. So are you proposing to remove all that sediment from basically from the outlet to the bank or to the stream? There seems to be quite a bit there. Like there's probably a couple of yards at least or more of sediment that's been deposited over the years.
Correct.
That's going to be removed and sort of replaced with riprap in that
Correct,
location?
yeah, riprap at the end. So we're going to expose that pipe and add a riprap to the bottom of that pipe.
Okay. And then the water quality unit that's got a grate on the top of it?
Correct, there's an inlet grate.
Okay. And that's capturing a lot of runoff from that parking lot, right? Because there's going to be a curb there, right?
Correct, yes.
That's going to direct it to that.
Yep, so all runoff from all the pavement that previously was going into that stream untreated will now go into this structure.
Okay. And the catch basin out in the back, the left rear corner of the building,
Yeah.
is that a deep sump catch basin, do you know?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And then that doesn't really capture a ton of water. A lot of that water in the back actually makes it down to the front, right, into the stream.
Correct, this captures very minimal, just the upland area back here. So yeah, that's all that catch basin captures.
Okay. And I spoke with Mark Robinson from Erland, and he said that maybe there was going to be doing some camera work in maybe the roof runoff. He wasn't sure exactly where that was actually going, or if it's just running off the roof, or is it running into a pipe system somewhere. Are you familiar with maybe him doing that or trying to find that out? Or do you know where the roof runoff goes?
As part of our interior work going on, we will be doing some scanning of the floor, and at that point, we want to just identify where the roof drain comes out of the building, so we're aware of it, and first of all, don't harm it, and make sure we don't disturb it.
Okay.
But yeah, we know that the roof drain doesn't just go out onto the ground, it does go into that same stored drainage. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get back to the new treatment that's coming off most of the water from the driveway? In a bigger storm event, will that you said all the water's going to get directed through the curbing, and is that going to be able to handle a very large event?
Correct. So the inlet grate of this structure would be sized to handle flows for the 100-year storm event. Yes.
Thank you.
And the pipe as well associated with that. So it's an 18-inch pipe, and that would pass the 100-year storm event as well. And we've included the calculations for that in what we submitted today.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one question. So thanks for presenting this. Question is, on the that water capture, water quality device. And it may be in the plan, but I haven't had a chance to look at it, but is there any sort of preventive maintenance or operational maintenance that's going to be done on that water quality device, and is that in the plan?
Yes, so we've included a long-term operation maintenance plan in the report, and that does need to be, all the sediment and trash accumulation does need to be vacuumed out. I think it's twice a year.
Okay, and that's specified in the...
It is, yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, I just have a comment and a quick question. On the comment is a thank you. I appreciate the fact you put a lot of work into this. You're going to be cleaning out the trash, you said the debris and all that while you're doing that. That makes a big deal. It's all part of the project. That's all good. So thank you for that. The question is, are there any signs there today about no dumping and stuff, so future debris and to prevent people from dumping or no?
We are proposing signage for like no snow storage in that area, but as far as specific trash, is that?
So I'm suggesting you consider, I understand no snow storage, that's good, thank you, 'cause that's a good signage to have there. I'm suggesting considering there no dumping and everything, because obviously in a year from now, and 2 years from now, you go through and you clean it all up, and then all the debris comes back, and it doesn't prevent it, but it certainly, it's something.
Yep. Yeah, we certainly can add that. Most of the trash that's in there it does not appear to have been dumped in there. It just, I don't know if it's
Just
trash.
that area up there and it blows around?
Blows around and, yeah, and quite honestly, it probably hasn't been cleaned out in 30 years or more. I don't know how long, but it's probably been a very long time.
But so that's the bad news. The good news in what you just said is you don't think you have a dumping problem up there at all? You don't feel you have a dumping problem?
No, we don't feel like we feel like it's just been accumulation over time and just hasn't been addressed and hasn't been maintained.
Okay, thank you.
But we're happy to include a sign there. We've got
Well, if
a lot of siding
you think
there
it's
right
necessary,
now.
do it. I'm only asking if
Yeah.
it's not necessary, then don't.
Yep.
Thank you.
I just had one last thought. So there is previously degraded work in the 25-foot no disturb zone.
Thank you.
But you are going to be needing to do some additional work, right, in the 25, so you'll need a waiver. If you could just come up with, let's say, like some sort of letter explaining what work is necessary in the 25-foot no disturb zone so that we can have that, and I'm thinking that we can make a motion to waive that, but it would be nice to have it in writing.
I did include that in the recently submitted NOI narrative. It might be on the second page, I want to say.
Okay.
All right, I just remind everybody, we just received all of the new information, and even though the presentation was really good, other questions like this may come up after we've looked at it. So, as much as the presentation was excellent, I would like to hold to our policy of being able to review everything, and if there are other information that the commission feels like it needs to be answered, so I would suggest that you get a chance to look over the new proposal, and if there are any additional information that is needed or questions that need to be asked, that would be terrific. Seeing how we did have a presentation, if there is anybody in the audience that would like to comment on this, feel free. I will give you a couple of minutes to do so. Otherwise, I don't see anybody. Bring it back to the commission. And one last opportunity.
Yes, I had a question, and perhaps it's in what was submitted, because I haven't had a chance to look at it all. But I do see that there was an additional fee submitted, and I'm assuming that that has to do with the work on Bank?
Correct.
Is that correct? And is there an explanation of that, the difference in the fee and how it was calculated? Is that in what you submitted?
Yeah, so it would be in that updated WPA form.
So I know that there was already a fee submitted. What's confusing me is the check for the city and the check for the state appear to be in different amounts, and I would have expected them to be the same. So did you calculate in like the local ordinance fee as well, or do you know how
So the check that was dropped off today for the
Yes.
290, that
Yes.
included the local fee as well.
Thank you. And is there an explanation of that in what was submitted? And if not, can you provide it?
Sure, I emailed you the explanation of the breakdown, but I
Okay.
can, I don't know if you received that today.
I may have, but I was pretty inundated with things, so
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at
Okay,
it.
if you want me to put a letter together, I can do that as well, but yeah.
That would actually be great, because then I can get
No
that to
problem.
the commission members. And also, I'm going to give you, before I forget, the check for the Commonwealth that you, I think inadvertently,
You didn't want that one as well?
I think the Commonwealth might want it.
Teresa, anything else?
Not at this time.
All right, one last opportunity for the commission. So is it your request that we continue the public hearing to July 25th?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue the public hearing to July 25th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I have to say, Mr. Teal, from day one to now, tremendous improvement.
Welcome.
Tremendous.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Connoisseurs Product Corporation, located at 17 Presidential Way. Notice of intent, DP number 348-865, stormwater improvements. This is continued from May 9th, 2024, and May 23rd, 2024.
My name is Matt Connors from Hancock Associates. I was at the site walk and the prior meeting and this past meeting. At the past meeting, you guys had asked some questions, which I've put together a response to, and we have also submitted a revised site plan and a invasive species mitigation plan. So at the last meeting, the commission had requested no dumping signs be added to the property. That's been added to the plan. The commission had asked that no grass clippings be, or whatever grass clippings were there would be collected and removed from property. Those grass clippings have been removed by the landscaper. The commission had requested rock salt not be used as a de-icer on the property. This is actually why we extended our last meeting and didn't come in. The owner has been trying to work with their plowing company, and typically the plowing company has said they don't use rock salt unless they have to because it's more expensive. They typically use sand, but they do have rock salt. So it's a limited use at the property. They're not going to say that they can't, that they won't use it.
There are other de-icing products. Why not use them, especially when feel this commission is pretty dead set against rock salt?
It's based upon what their contractor uses for a product, which is typically sand. He came out and said he usually doesn't use rock salt. They would use it in specific locations if they did use it.
Okay.
The commissioner requested rat poison. Actually, it was a specific product of rat poison not be used on the property. Their contractor uses contract soft bait, which contains bromidioline. Is that acceptable to the board? There was a specific product that was being requested not be used.
So if I can comment, so the request was not to use rat poisons, right? So what your contractor is using is second-generation anticoagulant rat poison, which is contract soft bait, contains bromadiolone. So I strongly recommend that you consider alternatives to that material. I can strongly suggest that you consider not using anticoagulant rodenticides or rat poisons, because there are a multitude of other product types that can be used. So I would strongly suggest you go back and discuss that. There are numerous types of material coming from, whether using dry ice, whether using vitamin D3. There are non-toxic baits that can be used as well that are effective. So I would suggest that you go back and think about that and discuss that. And also, I am going to ask that the reports that you receive from your pest control company, which you haven't specified who that is, but those reports come in on some type of semi-regular basis, monthly reports, and I would request that those reports are sent to this commission for review on a monthly basis. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Let's see. So the commission had asked about inspection reports for the existing stormwater systems. There are no reports available. The commission requested snow storage plan be provided. So what we did is we grabbed the storage plan that was on file here with the city for the existing project and added the snow storage locations for the rear. So you guys have that now. The commission requested that trees be removed from the basin. As discussed last time, trees are being removed from the basin, but we've added a note that clearly identifies for the tree removal. Commission requested an invasive species mitigation plan, which you guys has been submitted. And let's see, you had requested alternative erosion control, so we've updated the plan with bark chip filter socks, which there was a question on confirming the basin recharge area. That was a typo in the report. The report has been updated, and the update didn't affect the design of the system in any way. And let's see, the commission had requested the engineer confirm the depth of groundwater within the basin. So we went out and dug a test pit by hand and determined that groundwater was we reached the depth of 32 inches below the bottom of the basin with no evidence, so which is greater than the 2-foot minimum required by DEP. Let's see. You had requested that the catch basins confirmed to be deep sump. They are deep sumped in Hood. And the commissioner requested clarification of the use of an infiltration basin or detention basin. So we are proposing infiltration basin with sediment forebay and outlet control structures.
All right, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. As far as, so you dug a test pit by hand out there, is that what I'm?
Correct.
And it looks to me like where you're showing that measurement, that doesn't look like really great infiltration soils. It's large rocks, boulders, it doesn't look like sand or sandy loam or anything like that. I mean, I'm not at all pleased with that. In addition, test pit 5, you reached a depth of 78.5 feet, which is above actually the bottom of the basin. So I'm not sure what that's telling us. Any idea what that is?
So are you referring to the test pit that was adjacent to the basin but not in the basin?
Correct. Yep.
So it was a test pit adjacent to the basin but not in the basin because the basin was overgrown with trees. His follow-up test pit was a test pit in the basin, so we dug by hand.
Is that test pit 6? Yes, it is.
Test pit 6 was conducted at the bottom of the basin, elevation reached depth of 32 inches below the bottom of the basin with no evidence of groundwater.
And why was it only to 32 inches? Because you hit something hard or something, or
No, it was
just thought 32 inches was enough?
it was below it was 24 inches below the bottom of the basin, so.
Generally, you're trying to go, you dig into a test pit to find out if you're going to either hit groundwater or you're going to hit bedrock. So I'm not sure that this is a legitimate test pit. That's just my opinion. I was curious about what your thoughts were on, and you said it was a typo. I'm not sure, it doesn't appear like it, like the numbers changed so much. How did that happen?
I don't know, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't affect the design of the project.
It makes me a little bit curious about a lot of the other calculations that were done as part of the project. Are there more typos there as well? That was my concern initially as well. That's all I have for now.
Anybody else? Any questions or comments?
As we're going through this, am I understanding that on the matter, Commissioner Joyce, that you're talking about the rat poison, that's a condition you want as part of that, right? No rat poison, that's what you're looking for?
That is exactly what I'm looking for.
And so I think it's exactly what we should get. All right, and on the matter of the rock salt, is that a condition, Mr. Chairman, that we're looking for?
Typically, in our order of conditions, we say no rock salt.
So I just, to be honest with you, I'm kind of a little confused here. If we're putting in conditions, we're doing it for good reasons. You put in the rat poison in because you have a good reason to do it. You're not just making things up. There's good reasons to do it. We're asking to do it. I just think we need to stay firm on conditions. That's my comment.
Anybody else? This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak. Seeing none, bring it back to the commission.
Just one last question. I know we talked about it before, but the fact that you couldn't get an excavator or something into that basin because it was going to, basically that basin needs to be torn up. I mean, with all those.
That's correct, and it will be as we go through this. But what I had said before was we were trying to be as minimalistic as possible until we got into construction.
Okay.
And that's still the intent. The basin is being redone.
So do you plan on doing maybe another confirmatory, if you receive an order of conditions to do a confirmatory?
If you want to make that an order of condition that we do another test pit at that time,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
All right, thank you.
And with the other two subjects,
If that's the intent of the board, that they want that as an order of condition, then I would suggest you guys go with what you want to do and make it an order of condition.
okay. Will it be abided by?
I will work with the owner to, I mean, as you guys know, the owner has been there since the start of this. He's he's bought into this project. He wants to expand it. To my knowledge, he will do what needs to be done.
I believe at the sidewalk, he was very.
Yes, he was. Yep.
Amenable to pretty much whatever we were talking.
Correct. Yep.
And seemed to be very caring of the property, obviously, so,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, then I would ask the board, the commission, this is having those two order of conditions, the rat poison and the rock salt, no rock salt, acceptable by this gentleman's word that he will take it back to the owner, and if it is his wish to close tonight, we can then close. Otherwise, I really don't think we should close if those two conditions don't get put into the order, and the owner's not going to abide by it. We'll just have to be diligent and check on those things to make sure that they're being followed.
I think it's you know, you hope that the owner is good on his word, and it's just like every other project. I mean, we don't have time to go out and check on every single thing. I mean, we may stop in, you know, initially or something to check something, but there's just lots of things on the table, and as long as we can see a good faith effort,
I think the condition of the property as it stands is a
Right.
testament to
Yep.
what the owner's looking to do out
No,
there.
I agree.
I agree with that as well.
So is it your request that we close the public hearing?
Please.
So before the commission makes a motion and votes on that, the next meeting date is beyond the 21 days to issue an order of conditions after the close of the public hearing. So would you consent to granting the commission additional time to issue an order of conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to make it like a specific date, or
Miss-
do you want
I
to?
presume, yeah, so 21 days would be the end of July.
So, let's see.
If you could just put a date on it, that would be fantastic.
Okay. How about,
August 22nd?
I suspect that that the commission would issue prior to this, but if we said August 2nd, that would be plenty of time, and
Sure.
it would be issued sooner, provided that
Then it's sooner.
there isn't anything unforeseen that stops that.
Fantastic.
Okay. So, could you give us that in writing? Would you be,
Is an email okay, or do you want a letter? Or
you can even handwrite it right now. I just want to make sure I have something for, do you need paper?
maybe?
Got somebody here?
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before we move forward,
Thank you.
there is one part of this as well that I'm very adamant about, and that is to receive the monthly maintenance reports on that rodent control plan. It's, as Commissioner Lonis said, we can't go out on a regular basis to check to see if things are being done correctly. But those monthly maintenance reports will be critical in being able to monitor that. So that is, I'm proposing not only the rat poison piece of this, but also those monthly maintenance reports as well.
Could you, in the
Can't that
next
be a-
couple of days,
Out in the order
I
too.
know.
put something in writing to help Teresa write that particular condition?
Oh, yes, I can.
We put that in an order.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it is your wish to close this evening?
Yes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Who was that? You or you, that's it.
I think everyone on this side seconded.
It's like three of them. Knocking them out anyway. Been knocking them out of there. Yeah, it's gonna be busy next one. I have stuff that's beyond this meeting. I read this.
I do too. This is it.
Let's see how the problems are. That's what.
Sorry.
216.
So we can move on? All right, next on the agenda is CCF New Boston Property Company LLC. Locus is 216 New Boston Street, 225 Merrimack Street. Notice of intent, DP number 348-869 for mixed-use building. This is continued from June 13th, 2024.
Just looking for the HDMI cord.
I think it fell behind.
Good enough.
All set?
All set?
Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Tom Schutz from Goddard Consulting. I'm also here with Nick De La Cava from Allen and Major Engineering, who is the civil engineer on this site, and we're here for 216 New Boston Street and 225 Merrimack Street, and the new project in front of you. Prior to this hearing, we submitted several supplemental information packets, the first being a existing conditions photo packet. We then submitted a revised plan set. We also submitted a pest control plan and operation and maintenance plan that included de-icing and that kind of maintenance. Additional to anything else that we submitted as well?
Yeah, we updated the O&M to include the de-icing agents as well as the fertilizers that we anticipate using on the site.
All right, so moving on, we'll just start quickly by going through, so we already went through introductions. So we'll look quickly through some of the existing conditions photos that I took on site on June 18th. So right after the last hearing, we'll first start with the wetland photos. They are very similar to what we had submitted with the notice of intent submittal. On the top left, we have the intermittent stream that runs through the center of the site. We still have an immense amount of Phragmites and invasive species. We also have the stream looking similar as it did when we submitted this in 2023. It kind of just runs through there and meanders through there, but is also still has that orangey color. In the top right, we have the other side of the stream with the riprap banks, just another view of it, and then the same as the bottom right photo as well. The bottom left photo is the large bordering vegetated wetland system that is directly adjacent to the parking lot that is up on the northern end of the site where the stream next to New Boston Street flows out of. And you can see that it literally abuts the parking lot directly.
Hey, can I just stop you there? Because I had a question about.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the source? Do you know what the source of that water is there? Is that groundwater or?
No, that's the intermittent stream. It runs from off-site. It runs directly due west onto the site through a pipe, which will be removed and daylit, and then down eventually adjacent to New Boston Street and into another culvert.
So the bottom left photo?
So this photo right here.
No, I'm talking about the bottom left.
Yes, no, so this is a BVW system in the north of the site.
Yep.
It runs this way where my cursor is going, and then enters another intermittent stream that's right directly next to New Boston Street, flowing down towards the south. And then there's an intermittent stream in the center of the site, which is this photo right here, that's right directly in the center, and that flows to the east, where it will connect eventually with this intermittent stream, where they both connect and flow off-site through a culvert.
I'm sorry, but I just see water in the parking lot.
He's referring to water on the pavement.
Sorry, the water on the pond is just rain. That's it.
Thanks.
Appreciate the clarification.
Depression.
Any other questions on this slide?
Yeah.
So now we'll move into some existing site photos for the infrastructure. This top left photo here where my cursor is, this is 225 Merrimack Street with the existing buildings and large parking lot that's currently being used as a waste management facility. We had just a large parking lot with some dumpsters out here. Then as we move down, this is 216 New Boston Street looking north. As you can see, all of the mulch piles and other debris has been removed. I think these are just trucks that were just currently parked there when I was there on site, so they don't currently reside on the site. This is another photo looking north of the site, just to give you just a general understanding of how the general, or the conditions are out there. Everything, again, has been cleared out. And then finally, another photo of that same existing condition. And here's just an existing conditions map for us to take a look at if there's any questions on that. We'll be moving into the proposed pest control site plan, and Nick will take it from here.
Sure, yeah. So in addition to this pest control plan, we had also submitted revised site preparation plans and a revised grading and drainage, a revised utility plan. The site prep plan was just updated to remove some of the comments that we had on there, to remove the existing stockpiles and the existing trailers that was requested by the commission. So we had taken those notes off. The grading and drainage was updated in coordination with the latest utility plan that we had also discussed last week. We moved the sewer to the front of the site, and we're currently working with the DPW Director, Jay Duran, to finalize that design and get his approval before we go to construction. So those plans were submitted. If there are any specific questions on those plans, we do have them with us. We can pull them up. But what you have in front of you is the pest control plan. This shows rodent traps situated every 30 feet along the edge of the limit of work for the project. The traps will be monitored every 2 weeks. And after each visit, there'll be a report that's submitted that shows all the findings, the products being used, the amounts of products being used, the EPA registration numbers, and the technician's name and license number. As part of this rodent pest control plan, we had also included the contractor who will be doing the work. It'll be Waltham Pest Control. We have a copy of the unsigned contract for the commission's review. We did hear at the last hearing, or the previous applicant before us tonight, that the rodenticide or rat poison is not favorable. We were unaware of that when we pulled this together, and we're more than happy to take that out. It was noted as what would be used for the pest control. So if there's a specific agent that the commission would prefer us to use, we're happy to update this and make sure that's what's used moving forward. And then lastly, the O&M was updated to include the fertilizers that we plan on using, as well as the de-icing agents. We're looking to use potassium chloride when needed, more as a last resort. It's noted in the O&M that sand will be used as a priority, but during severe weather, potassium chloride may be used on some of the sidewalks just to keep a safe walking path. And so I believe that's really all the action items that we received at the last meeting. So if there's any questions about any of the updated information, we'd be happy to answer.
Jim, I'll refer to you on traps.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you putting the plan together. And it's very detailed. It was good. So there's a big difference between traps and rodenticides. And when we talk about putting them into tamper-resistant bait stations, well, those bait stations can hold traps. So they can be electronic traps, they can be snap traps. It's an option. There are a variety of different types of baits. Specifically, what I don't want to see is the use of anticoagulant rodenticides.
Yep.
Second generation and first generation. That's what I would prefer not to see or not to have. But other options would include vitamin D3, like I mentioned in the previous public hearing. That's one option. And there's a variety of different prevention methods and things that you can do in boroughs when you're doing your construction. And there's many municipalities now that are going to, not vitamin D3, but they're using that, but using the dry ice methods for boroughs that will just take care of your rodents during construction. So that's an option that you can consider.
Can you explain that a little bit more? I'm not a rodent control expert.
Yeah, I know.
So are you referring to, did they drop the dry ice in like burrows that they find around the site? So they have to locate those first before they don't just leave dry ice in a trap?
No. So dry ice, it dissipates quickly. So when you put it in, you can use it either in dry ice form or you can use CO2 gas. It's CO2. So you can pump it in as gas or you can put dry ice into the burrows. And once you do that, you seal them up and it takes care of your rodents. It actually seals up the burrow and it seals the so it suffocates the rodents.
Yeah, yep.
All right, that's what it does.
Understood, thank you.
That's what it does. So I would prefer to see those types of methods, and the reason why is because the anticoagulants will bioaccumulate right up the food chain, but they also permeate themselves into soil, they get themselves into water, and they don't dissipate. So when you're talking about a situation like this, when you've got 93 bait boxes, depending upon what's in them, some of that material is going to run out during rainstorms, it's going to get in the soil, it could get down into the resource areas, it can go all over. So that's why I say the anticoagulant material is definitely not preferred.
Sure, yeah, no, that makes sense. We can take that off and just submit a revised pest control plan that
Thank you.
details using the vitamin D3, or if they do locate burrows,
Yeah.
that they have the option to use the dry ice.
And when I do the order, I have to do the order of condition for the previous hearing, but when I write this up, I'd also like to get the monthly reports. So if they're going to do this on 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks, yep.
Every 2 weeks? Yeah, I'd like to receive those monthly reports. Or
Sure.
those bi-weekly reports.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful, just so that doesn't get lost in, translation, if that could just become an order.
Yeah.
Or a condition, I should say.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful. That way we
All
can
right.
just make sure the commission receives those.
That's what we'll do, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I get just a couple of quick questions on the same topic. The 30 feet apart on the bait stations, was that recommended by the pest control people that you hired?
That's correct.
I was surprised. That seems like a really lot of bait boxes, so that's probably typical practice for a lot that size, and you might know.
So yeah, that makes sense, every 30 feet.
Okay.
To me, it's way overkill, but.
I was just surprised. It seemed like a lot.
Well, it's.
No pun intended.
So it's no. One way or the other, nothing's coming through that fortress, right? But, I've sat in on quite a number of different EPA webinars on this topic. And, those bait stations, it's interesting because rodents aren't everywhere in that whole perimeter, right? You're going to get burrows and they're going to be in certain spots. But when you have a company come in, they can put monitoring devices in those bait stations so you can actually determine whether you've got activity or you don't. And it can be done all wirelessly so that you'll know exactly where all of your high impact areas are, and you can target those areas. So you have 93. Well, you may not need 93, let's put it that way.
And my other question was, will this follow through, and I don't know if we have the, can actually put it in as a condition, does this follow through to once the new property owners are up and running and?
Yep, that's correct. So in the control plan that we submitted, it does say, once building is complete, pest control services will be managed by building owner and property management. Once building is turned over, monitoring will occur monthly or as established by the owner or property management company.
Sorry if I didn't see that, then thank you.
No, that's okay.
Appreciate that. I'm good.
Any other questions?
I just said, so we had asked as well about the easement agreements, if you could provide sort of the documentation of that. I didn't see that.
That wasn't submitted?
Thought it was, but we'd certainly submit that right after this. We can submit that afterwards, and the closing of the hearing and the issuance of the order conditions can be contingent on the submittal of that plan.
The same with the property subdivision, because the lots don't appear on the city's GIS, at least right now, and actually, we pulled it up as if they've been subdivided. I know that, have they? I mean, they have, right?
They have, that's correct.
So I think
And I apologize, I'm not sure why those weren't submitted, but we can definitely get you those plans.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if we want to close before I guess contingent upon, I'm pretty happy with everything, but it's better for us to receive, all this material prior to closing the hearing. Even, I guess we could condition, I don't know.
Yeah, I would recommend, our preference would be to condition it, that we provide those plans for your review prior to signing off on any building permit. Would that be acceptable?
Well, it's actually up to the commission, but I'm a little concerned with not having like the easement agreements, because some of the operation and maintenance plan, it's kind of contingent that there are agreements that allow the maintenance to take place. So it's hard to sort of look at how is that conditioned in the order when you don't control the property?
So we wouldn't even be able to build a lot of the infrastructure that we need to install to support the building without those easements.
Right, but you could get an easement that allows you to actually go in and build and that, but doesn't necessarily allow the operation, like the continued maintenance of it. So that's where I would have a concern for the commission.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. We have them. I didn't realize they weren't submitted. We have those plans.
Yeah, the policy is, once we close, we can't usually accept any other material, and I think it would be difficult to write some type of condition.
Well, I just think it's concerning not to have that. But it also would give you an opportunity, if you keep the hearing open, to submit the revised pest management, and then everything can be referenced, and it's a lot cleaner. So then you're not coming back, and what if the commission doesn't agree, and then you have to come back to another hearing, or you have to amend the order. It's better to get it, I think, cleaner and neater the first time.
I would agree with the administrator on that.
Okay, understood.
So, any other questions from the commission? This is a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission one last time. So is it your request that we continue to July 25th?
Yes.
Chairman, I move that we continue the public hearing to July 25th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hopefully we'll be
Thank you
able to
very
wrap
much.
everything
Thank you.
up.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Much appreciated, the new info.
All right, moving on to business items. We have 2 out of the 3 minutes. The first one is May 9th, 2024. That was the marathon night. I've been through it. I don't think I wrote anything down.
It's excluded.
Anybody have any comments or additions?
I'll let you do it, Jerry, so I don't blow it.
So, this was the May 9th meeting?
May 9th.
So on the May 9th meeting, members present, the man to my left, Steve M. Malone, was not included as being present, and he was. So that needs to be added.
Good.
Sorry, can you just tell me which date?
I'm sorry,
Ju-
it's May 9th.
May 9. Thank you.
Just if we could, and I'm just asking out of curiosity, and I'm looking at these names, we always put in the initial, I think we do, huh?
Yes.
Middle- Yes, wow.
Very official.
Absolutely, thank you.
I never noticed.
I never noticed it before.
Any other?
Just on, for a little bit of clarification, so on page 4, underneath the chair open discussion to audience, it's like it's going to be the third paragraph. Linda Budnick, and I think it should be Linda Budnick of Place Lane Condominiums and Chair of their Board of Trustees. I don't know if that really matters a lot, but there's the condos over there, and there are also people that live on Place Lane, single-family homes, so.
Okay.
So I'm saying Linda Budnick of Place Lane Condominiums and Chair of their Board of Trustees.
Oh, their Board of
Yes.
Trustees?
Yep. Yep. And then, where you come to, let's see, it's like the fourth sentence. Ms. Budnick asked if there will be lighting on the path, what hours it will be open, and then so after open, will be should be stricken because it's there twice.
Right.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I had.
So just page 1 and page 4.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the meeting minutes of May 9th, 2024 as drafted and amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Moving on, we have the meeting of May 23rd, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the meeting minutes of May 23rd, 2024 as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
And we will do June 13th at the next meeting. We have,
I'll text you.
Sorry, what?
I was going to say, we don't have any site visits scheduled.
Actually, you may want to. We do have some new filings
Sounds it.
that will be on the next agenda. One is 83 Commerce Way, which is the Marshall's Distribution Center.
I saw that. Yeah.
I have been told that weekday evenings are the best for site visit out there if possible. They do require advance notice, so it's not a great site for members to see on their own. So if the commission schedules a weeknight evening site visit, I can let them know and go from
Well,
there.
if you want to decide on a date now, that's fine. Starting tomorrow, will be out of state for a number of days, so I have been out to that property several times, so I know what it looks like. Anybody have any recommendations?
What's the property again?
It's,
83 Commerce Way.
Oh, okay.
And that's right before the Target location, right? That's okay. I don't remember being there before, but.
yes, I don't know, some members of the commission, I believe, have been to this site, but not everyone.
I have not been there.
I apologize, but I know you said something, but I was in the middle of making a note. What did you suggest, or what did they say they were available?
Weeknights.
So
Yes.
weekday evenings.
Okay.
And
Is-
they
Or
advance
weekdays in
notice.
general, but evenings are best for the commission members.
Okay. I'm available any,
Monday night work for anybody?
I'm
Next
on
week I'm out.
vacation next week.
Same,
I'm out.
yeah.
Okay,
Kid
that doesn't
Pauline's
sound
out next week.
I'm off for a week as well,
Next week's-
starting
next week's
after
no good.
tomorrow.
Following Monday?
Following,
Fine.
Yep,
Yep, good.
Following
That
Monday
date is-
July 8th.
Is it July 8th?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
actually am off that day as well.
What is it, the 8th?
I extended my vacation.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I might,
The 8th?
I might be able to, but
July
I
8th,
can't
is
say
that-
for sure.
what
I
time?
can do it. What t-
I know it pretty good.
Whatever's 5:30, 6?
Let's do closer to 5 or 5:30. Well,
I'm good.
is everybody,
I don't care.
I could go
I'm-
5.
I'm
I
wide
could do
open.
5.
Just remember, traffic's a son of a gun.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5?
want to say 5?
Five's fine. And what day do we agree to?
July 8th.
Okay, it's in ink.
And if I'm in town, I will be there.
Same here.
And that's 83 Commerce Way.
It's right before the Target
Yes.
entrance.
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Do you go in the same, there's only one entrance, I believe, right? It's just where the trucks go in?
I think so, but when I let them know the timing, I'll ask them.
I'll tell you, the last time I was
Wasn't
there, John, it was
the
tough getting
fence
into.
area,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
gated.
it is fenced in,
Oh,
so
fenced.
that's why you need advance notice, so they
Yeah.
can, I mean, I assume somebody will be there and,
Yeah.
greet you.
So July 8th, 5 PM.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then the other filing that came in that you don't have yet is from Nico Gallinelli, and that's, do you remember that address? It's over,
Really?
the property is actually
Burlington.
houses in Lexington,
Corner
but
of
the back part of the property is in Woburn.
I think it's like rear Grant.
Oh, it's that fancy house?
Yeah,
You've been out there,
with the garden,
No,
I've
it's
done
not,
that before.
the
it's,
garden.
it's not that property. It's,
Oh.
it's like if you, to get there, you would go, I think, is it Lexington Street or is it Middlesex Turnpike? Middlesex, you go Middlesex Turnpike in Lexington,
Yeah.
And
and
then,
then it's one of those properties, and then the back
Well, you could
part
do
of the
the back
property is.
road like you're going
okay.
to Market Basket
Right.
and
then you
then
have
keep
to-
going.
yeah, right in
But
there.
then you have to hike through the woods, though, like,
no, I think these are right on the main road,
Yep.
Middlesex.
right on Middlesex
Two new
Turnpike.
houses that they just did.
Yes,
Oh, those.
yes.
Oh,
And why are we doing?
It's, well, they re-permitted
So
the
he-
first one, I believe.
So it's actually for a detached garage, and the garage would be in Woburn, so that's why.
All right.
And it's within the 150-foot buffer zone. I don't believe it's within the 100-foot. But
Okay.
the filing is right there for you. You don't have it yet, unless you picked it up from
So
me
we're
earlier.
gonna try to do a site walk there sometime? Is that the plan or no?
Opposite ends of the city, pretty
You're
much.
not kidding.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same night, does
Right.
it?
It does not.
No.
Nope.
Wednesday night,
It's good for me.
That's fine with me.
You say Wednesday?
10th.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
We
say-
doing it the
Wednesday
same
the
week?
10th?
July
The
10th?
10th? The actual address for that? Yeah, do we have an
I'll
address?
try to find, I'll get you one.
Okay. And so that's gonna
I'm
be
just gonna call it
Wednesday,
Lexington.
July
what
10th
time?
at
What time?
5 o'clock again? or-
Yeah.
All right, I have a 4 o'clock appointment with the doctor, but it's right around the corner, so
Just tell them to hurry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're lucky you
Tell
can get
him
to
and
see
her
your
that,
doctor.
you know,
Get a second
move it
opinion.
along.
All right, so we've got
I got a 5 o'clock in Lexington.
the 8th, Monday the 8th,
8th
and
and the
Wednesday the
10th.
10th at 5 PM. All right, next on the agenda, we have the issuance of 2 orders of condition. The first one is the city of Woburn, the New Boston Street, the bridge. I had a chance to
My agenda doesn't show them.
read that
Yeah.
just a little while ago.
Oh,
Everything looked
I
good.
thought I had a two-page agenda. maybe.
Pretty much the same as the original one.
So I knew I had.
Some dates have been changed. Anybody have any
Oh, wait.
questions or comments on
For the order of conditions?
the order of condi?
Oh,
See,
okay.
there's minutes.
New Boston Street Bridge.
I'm
Oh,
talking
no,
about,
these were last minute. Sorry.
hey,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue the order of conditions as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Let's do the next one real quick, and we'll give Mary a sit to breathe a little bit. The next one is Pulte Homes of New England LLC. Again, we have the draft, and again, everything looks like it's in order. So any discussion on that one?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue the order of conditions as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, if we go back to public hearings, we have Seaver Construction. Locus is Merrimack Street, School Street. It's an RDA, and it's the intersection realignment.
Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain from this hearing for conflict of interest.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you for your patience. For the record, my name is Mary Trudeau, and I'm representing Seaver Construction this evening in their request for determination of applicability in front of the commission. This project that you have before us tonight, which is intersection reconstruction at Merrimack and School Street, actually relates to the East Dexter Street condominium project that was approved and is almost complete now. Actually, it is complete. I owe you a certificate of compliance request, but this was sort of the off-site mitigation that the city required of Seaver Construction to construct as mitigation for the permission to build the condos down on East Dexter. It took a while to get the plans done. The town was responsible, I think, for some of the work, and then Seaver stepped in and picked up the rest. And we now have a situation where the town is pushing Seaver to get this work done. Seaver has engaged a contractor, but we're still a little behind in our permitting. We're here with you this evening. This is an interesting project, that the wetland resource areas that relate to this property are a section of the Middlesex Canal, which, while it is not considered a perennial river under the Rivers Protection Act, it still is a wetland with jurisdiction under both your local bylaw and the state law. There's a section of the canal right to the south of School Street. It actually travels underneath School Street and then goes cross-country for about 150 feet and emerges again behind a building on the far side of Merrimack Street. I did not believe that there was riverfront area related with the culvert way behind on Merrimack Street, because it was in a pipe for a distance of more than 200 feet, which means that when you lay out the geometry of the riverfront area, instead of doing a circle, you do a straight line perpendicular to the mouth of the culvert. So this intersection falls outside of my interpretation of the riverfront area for this. It is, however, within the jurisdiction of the wetlands associated with the Middlesex Canal, which is why we are here with you. Mass DOT is doing two things with roads these days, and I think towns are following suit. One thing they do is a roundabout, which typically increases the amount of impervious surface in a traffic intersection. The other thing they do is try and straighten out intersections and make them more of a right angle rather than sort of the Ys that we're familiar with. And that's what this project is doing, is that it's really straightening out the intersection within the existing right-of-way. It also adds sidewalks and a traffic island to this area, but it actually reduces the footprint of the roadway because it's tightening it, it's pulling it in, and it's moving it further away from the Middlesex Canal. There's an existing head wall to the north of the canal, south of School Street. We're not even touching that. We're just moving further away from it with the roadway. So they'll tear up the old pavement, put in a new curb line, and start the roadway further from the resource area that currently happens today. If you look at the site plan, it's very similar to what is out there now. It's just tighter and more right-angle-ish than the Y that we have in the past. And hopefully it will make it for a safer intersection, there'll be better sight distance, and the sidewalks should help, pedestrians in the area. Are there any questions from the commission?
Any questions?
I had a
Come on,
couple.
Jerry. Come on, Jerry.
Got a couple. So what's, I know you said you're pushing it back away from the head wall, and what's being done with do you know what's being done with the concrete sidewalk that's there now? Is that going to remain concrete?
No, it's going to be pulled out and it's going to become grassy. There'll be vegetation between the new sidewalk and where the old sidewalk was. So you're kind of gaining a little bit of a vegetated shoulder. I think there's some shrubs that are going to be put in some of the areas, but it's still urban right-of-way. It's
Right.
just not sidewalk.
Okay. And then I kind of wish we were consulted on this, because I don't really see any stormwater improvements out there.
No, I do not believe that they are changing the drainage in any significant way. But I think there are some new, if there are new structures.
There's a new catch basin and there's a manhole.
Yeah, I think there's a couple new structures that are coming in, and, if they put a new, structure in, it will have an oversized sump, which the others probably don't because they're antiquated. But for the most part, this was a traffic improvement, not a stormwater, project.
And Mr. Seaver's not interested in improving the stormwater out there? Do you know?
I think that this project really came from your engineering department, that the guidance came from them. I think that if you want to address stormwater in this area, it would be a conversation with John Corey, who would then relay that to Scott Seaver. Seaver is just implementing what the town has told him, or the city has told him.
Right. No, I get that. And I don't really think that we have the right to change that. I guess it would be, if you could suggest to him that Jerry Lonis on the Conservation Commission would like some water quality improvements, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, I would think that it would be limited to maybe making sure that there were oil and grease hoods
Yep.
structures, that if the structure was failed, they will, of course, have to replace it, and it will be replaced with something with a sump. But they wouldn't know that till they got in there, pulled the lid off, and saw what the condition
Right.
of the structure is.
And do you know offhand, I think you said that probably the sumps out there aren't 4 feet,
I would guess no.
right?
That's kind of like a post-1980s
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I think this roadway intersection is older than that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yep.
Just a quick question, thanks very much. Just on trash and debris and any type of, material waste, is there any type of prevention measures that are going in place that'll protect the waterway from any material that gets down there?
Well, you certainly can. You can put in either, like a piece of sheeting or even plywood just over the top to catch it. In reality, though, the work stays within the curb line for the most part, and then when they realign it, they move it. Like, it's a very short period of time that there is actually sediment that could be moving through the intersection. They do it in stages. First, they do the drainage structures, then they do the curbs, they take off the existing bituminous. I don't believe this is planned to be a full depth reconstruction, but they probably will reclaim, the material and grind it down before they resurface. Yeah, I mean, I think they have curtains that you can install, and that could certainly be a condition of the determination, that something go up. Or you could put wattles along the outside of the existing sidewalk, you know, like a 12-inch Filtrex tube, which would catch any stormwater debris. You know, the risk with something like this is always that an excavator has a careless operator and he drops a bucket
Yeah.
of something. And unfortunately, that just has to be cleaned up.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else? Yep.
So Mary, I didn't see on the plan, it's sort of a little related to what we were just talking about, but I didn't see any erosion controls at all, like shown on the plans. And I didn't see details for the new catch basin, or there's some, thank you, drainage manhole. What do you call it?
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing one on here. We can certainly supply one to you in terms of the detail for the structures. That should have just been a standard detail on this.
Yeah, so, but I didn't see it. And I don't really understand, and I don't know, maybe you can explain it, on sheet 2 of 2, like the site grading plan, the lower one.
Yeah.
There's, toward the bottom, it says, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm looking at this wrong.
Proposed 10-inch drain line?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, but you know what, I was looking at the wrong line, because I think actually the line that was confusing me, I think is a property line. So, right, it's like the line that kind of bisects the wording, is that a property line? Yes. Okay, thank you. Because I was trying to figure out what that was.
Yeah, I would say in terms of erosion control, specifying a 12-inch Filtrex tube, you know, at the perimeter, at the edge of the entire intersection would be fine. They can work around it, they can move it if they have to, and it controls sediment that isn't swept up at the end of the day if they should forget.
Okay, I don't know if I had, I think that was it, for now, anyway. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just had a couple of comments. Mary, you mentioned it initially about, you know, certificates of compliance.
I owe you a few, and I have to take the hit on this, that it is not Scott, and it is certainly not Dana, who calls and bugs me about it like every week, but I have a list of projects that we owe you requests for certificates of compliance, and what I have to do is go out with my list from last fall, make sure the tasks that I had set to be done are complete, and then fill out the paperwork and get it to you, and that's on me. I just am behind.
Do you think all the as-built have been done? And
Yes,
Okay.
because that was, in the fall, I gave them a list on each of the projects. I think there was the one that's down on 38, right near the interchange, the duplex.
Right.
That I know that they had some remedial work to do, which they did do, some replanting, and I think there was an as-built on that one. East Dexter, I know the as-built are done, and that's completely on me, but I had asked for them, it was just hydroseeded at the end of the season last fall, so I didn't want to submit something before the grass had grown. And then on Battle March,
Yep.
they had forgotten to do the treatment of the invasives last summer, so they had Essex Horticultural come out early this spring and do a follow-up treatment, and I just have to go out and inspect that and come back. But I think they're in good condition to get done. It's me getting my paperwork together.
Do you have a timetable?
Pick which one you want first, and I'll start.
Battle March.
All right, Battle March I will do first. Dana sent me a note on Battle March very recently, too, so, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? This is a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll bring it back. Yep.
One more. So I believe in your narrative, you said that there won't be any stockpiling. Is that correct? Like
No.
everything is just going to go onto trucks that,
Yes,
Or
I mean, if they have a
if they need
trench or a
to.
hole for a structure, they might leave a little pile of material just to backfill, but usually they fill with clean material and stone, so they just load it right out and take
Okay.
it.
And-
There's no room here.
and do you know how long it will take? The work itself?
I'd say a couple weeks. I mean, I think that They're probably 6 weeks? Yeah, I mean, their goal is probably to get it done before school starts up again and the buses come through, because they park down the road.
Okay.
But they will keep traffic open throughout the construction. It just may be one lane and detail cops sort of
Wow.
passing them through.
Okay.
So, good, avoid it.
Yeah. Yes, please let us know when you're going to start.
So Teresa, were you looking for any additional information?
So I was, I think that it would be good to have a detail for the erosion control, the detail for the catch basin and the drain manhole that's proposed.
So,
You can condition the determination if you want. I mean, I have no problems with doing that. And we'll just get it to you in the next couple days. None of these are big things. We just didn't do it apparently.
I think if the commission is okay with that, we could throw, I mean, we don't usually do a lot of conditions with.
instead of leaving it open and continuing it?
So it would be, so it would be a detail for erosion controls, detail for the catch basin, detail for a drain manhole, and no stockpiling within jurisdictional areas, and erosion control shall be installed throughout and maintained throughout the project.
You could also do like a pre-construction meeting with you so that you would see that the erosion controls were in. Do you know, I don't know how you feel about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes it that we have to have things by a certain deadline to get to you to schedule the visit.
Right, or at least that they have to be in to be inspected. That's,
Yeah,
that's,
so that
I
works.
like that.
Are you going to do the visit, Jerry?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll try and get that in the next, probably in the next few days or week, because we'll get you the details and get that installed.
Okay.
And then call you.
So with that said, Mary, are you requesting we close the public hearing?
I am.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
An
abstentions?
abstention.
One abstention.
Thank you so much for waiting tonight. I really just
No problem.
got bogged down in Needham.
Well, your timing was perfect. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were just finishing up with the paperwork.
I was so stressed the last few minutes of Needham. Every time they'd ask another question, I was like,
Speaking of paperwork,
Well, we were asking all our questions
two
slowly
here.
to give you more time to get here.
to catch my breath and recoup, yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, we still got
Thing.
items, I
One
think.
more thing.
They want a detail of the drainage of the catch basin.
And vote to issue this Yeah, but,
Here is why.
yeah, let's do that, just so, but I'm gonna run it down.
There you go.
I 100%.
All right.
You sign all those other ones?
Don't
John's
leave yet.
Yeah, we're not
I
adjourned.
didn't,
One more thing.
hanging out. You signed one, but not.
I don't, go ahead, I don't understand.
Did we,
I don't even say that.
the Bedford
no, just-
Road book,
You know, me too, that's where I said I'm not strong on procedure, that's where.
we opened, they told us,
I don't have these, so either I left them home or these are done.
that's what I'm thinking, but I'm not.
All right.
Files all messed up.
Thank you, Jerry.
Steve.
Pretty close. I know. I'm waiting for
all
a text
right,
from
Commissioner Joyce has an item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So I have one business item that I'd like to bring up briefly to the commissioners.
Okay.
And let's see, I got one here.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, that's fine. I'm all for it.
Okay, so let me explain. I think we've talked about this before. This is signage that I had prepared for the different kiosks in various conservation areas, as well as some signage that we can use down at the bridges at Horn Pond. Now, the reason for this is that we do have a city ordinance on feeding waterfowl, both directly or indirectly, but there is a pervasive problem in certain areas, specifically at Horn Pond, that feeding waterfowl, both directly and indirectly, is a problem. And so the signage fits directly in line with the city ordinance and different brochures that we have, but I'd like to put this in front of the commission so you can take a look at it. If it looks okay and we can approve it, that'd be great. We can have them put up in the kiosks. Again, I'd like to put them up in kiosks across the different conservation areas, not just at Horn Pond.
Get a few, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
get a few and put them up. And the other one is that it's actually sized for 18 by 24 inch signage in color, full color, and it can be put on any type of material. My suggestion for signs would be some type of vinyl material that wouldn't interfere with any kind of wood or anything like that, and to actually put them up on the bridge, on the ends of the bridges at Horn Pond. That's the proposal.
So if I could just make a quick comment, you know what I think about signs anyway, right? But I think this is excellent, and I'm gonna be honest, in full candor, when I first joining the commission, and then we had the Conservation Day, I went out, I can't remember Commissioner Tancredi, whether it was you or Commissioner Giuliano I was with, but we went to the O'Connor Bridge. We saw the railings, and what a mess those railings were, and the explanation was people putting bread and everything like that, and saying it was a bad thing, and I'm thinking, why is that bad?
Yeah.
I had no idea any
Right,
of this was bad. I mean, this is all news to me. It was news to me, what, 10 years ago?
I don't think a lot of people
I don't think people know.
They don't.
So the bridge is important, to your point, right? The kiosk is important, but those bridges, those railings, they're a mess because of that, because people put it in. And I said, why do you want to put the bread there? Are they just trying to feed him or what? And he says, no, they want the picture,
That's exactly right.
to get the picture.
That's exactly right. And so it's, if you ever go out there and you're a regular walker out there, or a regular hiking the trails, and you'll see it, and I think that we've all seen it, and it's something that I think we need to just kind of reinforce the fact that this is not a good thing, that waterfowl and waterfowl is a key component to any type of wetland, and so the idea is that they're supposed to forage on their own so that can be a vibrant, wetland and ecosystem. And they're not supposed to come out of the water to go chasing people around for food, which is exactly what's happening. So Commissioner Lonis knows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was walking down there yesterday with the dog, and there was a mother duck and 5 or 6 babies, and I'm standing there with the dog, and all of a sudden they walk out of the water and up the bank, and
Yeah,
Came right to you.
bye-bye.
so, yeah.
So
So,
that's what they do, they're well-trained.
yeah, they're well-trained for sure.
One quick comment, should this reference the city ordinance at all? Or does that,
It's a great, I actually had the thought when I was, going to present it, and we certainly could put that in there.
I mean, I believe there's signs at the different areas of the pond stating that there's a,
Yeah, I think that's a good
For the
idea.
ordinance,
There
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
Like that.
So,
I think we're supposed to do more than just have these meetings, go to site visits and stuff like that. The other part of it is education, it just plays into education, and I think
Thank you.
it's a
Yeah.
big plus.
yeah. It's like the double M sign. All right?
Just the bridge.
Okay, so, if this is acceptable, I can have the city ordinance put in at the bottom, and if it's acceptable, I can move forward.
sure.
Sounds good, good job.
Good with it, yeah.
Well done.
Good, yep.
Thank you.
I
All
like
right,
it.
I've got one
Thank you.
real quick thing, and then we
I
can,
have one, two on one, but I'll defer to you, Chairman.
We're gonna get back to the Seaver RDA. So we have I'm gonna move that we issue a -3 determination with 4 conditions, which would be prior to work, the applicant shall submit a detail for erosion controls, catch basin detail, and drain manhole detail. A pre-work meeting shall be required to approve erosion controls. And number 3, no stockpiling in jurisdictional areas. So that is the determination of applicability for the Seaver construction at Locust, Merrimack, and School Streets for the RDA. And I move that we issue a -3 determination with 3 conditions.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
One abstention.
One abstention.
If I do, I just have one question. It's just for my own personal education, but on the matter of the Seaver, the RDA that was just recently passed, with conditions and the issuance, as opposed, in the New Boston that we put over, I'm not sure why we're able to do one and not the other. Like, why we're able to close on Seaver where there is some stuff that we actually made it conditional, that we receive these prior to the drafting or issuance, and we weren't able to do it on the New Boston.
So the Seaver one was filed as an RDA.
Okay.
So the commission could have, if the commission wanted a lot more information to be submitted, could have issued a positive determination, which would have then had them file a notice of intent, and then they would need to file all the additional information.
Okay.
The question with an RDA is essentially, does this work require the filing of a notice of intent? And if the answer is no, then it's no, but you can still throw in some conditions. We typically don't
Yeah.
do a lot of conditions with an RDA, if we do any.
Okay, so really the RDA as opposed to an NOI?
It's
It's-
a different type of filing.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
that's, I was just curious.
That's good
Thank you.
clarification.
And speaking of which, sign.
The other thing that people should be thinking about, we can discuss it sometime when we aren't here real late, is it's been suggested that maybe we move the RDAs out of the public hearings. RDAs do not have to come under public hearings. And then that way, if there's people that want to speak, I could let them, but they don't have to speak because it's not a public hearing.
I think you have to change the ordinance to do that,
Yeah.
which would mean going before city council.
Oh, to actually do that?
I think.
Yeah.
I would double check the ordinance. I think it's not just the regulations.
Does it help you at all administratively?
To have public hearings for RDAs, it does not.
I mean, would it help to not have it under a public hearing?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was
But I believe that it's in the ordinance, which is why this hasn't changed. I believe it's why it hasn't changed in all this time.
I'm getting ready to.
All right, the last thing that I have, I just wanted to let everybody know, Jim and I went to the ribbon cutting for the sensory gardens.
Oh, yeah.
If you get a chance to get in there, it came out great. It really looks
I
nice.
saw it once, and I don't know if it was
If you
100%
get a chance to
complete, but
get
it
in
looked
there,
good.
Yeah,
do it.
Came out nice.
It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that,
Did they get to any signage or anything yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's what I was missing, that's all.
yeah, that was an
So I
The
saw
excellent,
the
irrigation
plantings.
is not complete.
Okay, the plantings look
Right.
nice.
right. That was an excellent event.
Anybody else have anything to bring up?
Get to these things.
Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
The ayes carry.
Okay.
One who's going to win the debate.
To our old days.